welcome to Reading Resolutions. Today I'm going to be doing my March book haul. Now I have about 24 books to show you, so we're going to just jump right into it, and we'll be moving quite quickly. This will be a bit lengthy. I am sorry about that ahead of time. Now the first 4 books I actually have to show you is a box set, The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I have owned this before. I have read these before everyone jumps on me. I loaned my copy out to my oldest daughter and told her to keep it because I knew I had the movie tie-in covers somewhere, and yeah, I couldn't find them. I have no idea where they disappeared to. I may have gave them away. I may have loaned them out. I don't know where they are. So I picked this up at a thrift store for $2.99, and now I have these. These have beautiful, beautiful landscape style fantasy covers, and yeah, I think these are actually an upgrade from what I had. And next up, there's kind of a story behind this, and that is this book has followed me through many, many stages of my life, and you guys will all know at some point, because everyone has a connection to this series, these books, and that is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone by J.K. Rowling. This is actually the UK celebratory released cover. I have been wanting to get a UK released of the series, and I found this at a thrift store for $1.29. There is literally no damage. This thing is beautiful, like new condition. So I picked it up immediately, and I definitely will be sticking with this cover series. I do know they're all out there. Some are a bit pricier than others, but I do plan on investing the time and money to get a full collection of this particular cover. Just because the Harry Potter series, just like to many others, it means a lot to me. I have raised my kids on this series. They have known about it since they were very, very small children. My oldest daughter has practically learned how to read with the Harry Potter series. So, for me, this is a personal goal in my life, is to complete this particular release series and have an actual UK released setup. I do have a full collection of US based. I've been slowly changing my paperbacks to hard copies, and I actually came down to buying this paperback or buying a hardback of the Sorcerer's Stone, and obviously I chose this one. So yeah, this one I'm going to treasure for a very, very long time. My next 2 books are the first 2 books of the Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare. I had these books on my e-reader. I had the first 4 books. I only got to read the first 3 before my e-reader died, but I had determined myself then that I wanted to actually have physical copies of these books. I have really not been able to invest the time or the money to finding and collecting the books. Just so you guys know, I have to travel almost over 20 miles just to get the closest actual bookstore outside of Targets and Walmarts and thrift stores. So for me to actually invest the time to go to Barnes & Noble and find the books I need to find and pay the price I need to find, yeah, that's kind of outrageous, and I end up spending way too much money, so I end up waiting to find them. But I did get these 2. I will be eventually collecting the rest of them, and I can't wait for the new one to come out in less than a month. Next up, I have Neil Gaiman's American Gods. This will be my second Neil Gaiman book ever. I actually only picked this up 2 days ago because Neil Gaiman does not appear in secondhand bookshops too much. Or if it does, it's gone before I even get there. But yeah, I've been meaning to pick up more and more Neil Gaiman. I love his work, and I'm a big Doctor Who fan, and that's actually how I got introduced to Neil Gaiman. And I can't wait to actually start reading this. Next up, I have Rick Riordan's The Red Pyramid. This is the first book in the Kane Chronicles. I know a lot of people are about to yell blasphemy. I have not read the Percy Jackson series. Have not read it. So I know not too much about it, except with Percy Jackson, He's the son of Zeus, and there's his adventures. This is with Egyptian gods, maybe along the same line, maybe not. I'm not quite too sure, but I'm hoping I enjoy this. We'll get the other 2 books of this series, and then eventually get into the Percy Jackson series. Next up, we have Graceling by Kristin Cashore. I've been meaning to read a lot more fantasy novels, and I just haven't been picking them up lately, but I figured why not. I found this, and I said, why not? Let me try it. And I loved it, and it was a great reintroduction into the fantasy genre, and I can't wait to get into more books. I can't wait to find the rest of the series. Next up, I have The Cuckoo's Calling by Robert Galbraith, aka J.K. Rowling. I like mystery novels, except for I have a hard time reading them because usually I figure it out. I actually have to say I did not figure this one out, and it was a great reintroduction to J.K. Rowling's writing. I get very, very comfortable with the Harry Potter series to the point where you forget how she tells her stories. You already know the story, you just read it to read it, and to be reintroduced to her writing style and to a whole new world, it was great to be reintroduced to that. And I can't wait till the sequel comes out for Silkworm. I really can't, because I really do enjoy this book and the characters. If you guys remember, in my February book haul, I got Divergent and fell in love with it. Literally the night I made that video, my boyfriend came home with Insurgent. I read it. By the next day, I went, ran out, and picked up Allegiant. Yep. So I've completed my trilogy. I've read it all. I am very, very happy with this series. I do have some arguments with Allegiant, but overall, I enjoyed the series very, very much, and I'm very, very glad I have a full copy now. Next up, Joanna Lindsey's Love Me Forever. I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing about how this is my favorite historical romance novelist, but please understand, I got most of her books at one point, and I went to college, and my mom mixed them up and actually sold all my books. So I've been slowly collecting them all back, and yeah. Next up is Chasing Invisible by Karen Pilcrest Taz. I'm sorry if I butchered that. I really am. But I saw this, and I love the cover. I love the simplicity and the beauty of it, and, you know, the lights in the background. And basically this book is about a girl who is in college. She falls in love. The guy either is or becomes a huge rock star, and then her life is taken over by the paparazzi, and she has to choose between her love or herself. And what's more important to her is to be with him, or, you know, to have a normal life and be herself once again. And so I really can't wait to read it. I know I'm on this like big contemporary binge, and you'll see that I think I have at least 1, maybe 2 more. The next book I have for you is Memoirs of a Geisha by Arthur Golden. I have read this book before. I love this book. I really do. And when I went to get a copy for myself, all my secondhand bookstores and all the thrift stores always get the same movie tie-in cover with the actress who played Sayuri, her face with the hair down, and I do not think that represents the feel that this book gives. Properly, it's just a movie tie-in cover. It looks like the poster. So when I read the book, I was determined that if I ever got a copy, it would have to be one of these older styled, and I actually love this cover with the geisha, and it wraps around onto the spine. It's just, I really, really enjoy this, and I really need to start reading this again. I liked the book the first time, but I think I'm going to take more out of it on a second read. My next 2 books I got in 2 separate hauls, but they are the first 2 books of the Gemma Doyle series, A Great and Terrible Beauty, and Rebels Angels by Libba Bray. I love these covers, and I've seen these multiple times on the BookTube community, and it just sounded something that I would enjoy. And yeah, I really don't know too much more about the series. I did read about the synopsis once, but I really don't remember it too well. But I saw these and I couldn't pass them up. Well, I saw this one at first and I couldn't pass it up. It was 50 cents. But then I found the second one this literally 2 days ago. And yeah, so I grabbed it so I can make sure I have the series. The next book I got, I was getting multiple books, and there was like a deal, and I needed like one more book to complete the deal, so I decided to pick up The Short Second Life of Bree Tanner by Stephenie Meyer. This now completes my Stephenie Meyer collection, so I now have all the books that she has published so far. I don't mind her writing style. She was a new author when she wrote Twilight. She has progressed very well. Host was a beautiful, beautiful work, and so I don't mind having to say I picked this up mostly just to finish my collection. The next book I have for you guys is The Help by Kathryn Stockett. My mother actually recently just told me to read this, and my mother is a die-hard romance novel reader. She really doesn't deviate too much. So when she comes up with a book that she falls in love with that's not a romance and tells me to go out and read it, I go and find something to go out and read it. And this is one of those type of books. I have not read it yet. I have seen bits and pieces of the movie, and that's very rare that you will ever hear me say that I've seen parts or I've seen the movie before I've read a book. But that is the case here, and what I've seen in the movie was actually quite funny, so I'm hoping that the comedy is definitely in this book. Yeah, I don't know when I'm going to get to this. I really don't. I have a TBR pile from both the library and plus what I have here. So, I don't know when I'm going to get to this, but I can't wait. Next up, we have Will Grayson, Will Grayson by John Green and David Leviathan. I have fallen in love with John Green's work, and I also have Dash and Lily's Book of Dares from Rachel Cohn and David Leviathan. So when I saw this collaboration, I figured why not? It can't be that bad. And I've had so many people tell me to get this book and to read it if I love John Green. And I can't wait to get on this. I was saving it because one of my Goodreads groups, this was up for a possible group read. They have decided to move on to another book, but I'm hoping to get to this at some point. The next book is If I Stay by Gail Forman. I believe I saw this on Ariel Bassett's Twitter, that she was reading this at some point, and she said she was enjoying it. And so when I saw a copy of it, and again, almost like new, used, at a used bookstore, thrift store, for less than $1, I pick it up. Why not? So it's again contemporary. I've been reading a lot more of these as I go on, and yeah, can't wait to jump into it. The last two books I have kind of fit the same theme. The first is from a young adult spin-off series, and then the last book will be from the main series itself. And the first one is Invincible by Sherilyn Kenyon. This is book 2 of the Chronicles of Nick, which is a spin-off series from her Dark Hunter series. And the series focuses around a character, Nick Gontier, who is actually one of my favorite characters from the Dark Hunter series. This is a spin-off series that will eventually lead into the actual Dark Hunter book that features the same character. So it's kind of a build-up into his main book. So we know what he is because, unfortunately, he's been written out of the main part of the series. For the most part, he has a few, cameo appearances, but we've been finding out what he's up to when he's not in the main series with this one. And yeah, I've been meaning to catch up on the series. The 5th book actually comes out in a couple of days, so I need to catch up. And the last book I got is Time on Time by Sherilyn Kenyon. This is, I don't know what number in the Dark Hunter series, 20-something. Between this and the Chronicles of Nick, there's over 30 books in this world that she has created, and it is an amazing world, and I love every moment of it. I really, really do. And yeah, this is focused around the 2012 Mayan calendar, end of the world, and yeah, I really, really love this. And that is it for all my books. That's 24 books for the month of March. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I will hopefully see you soon. And yeah, bye.